Hello folks, Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Auto Detailing here in Dallas, Texas. I want to talk about something. If you guys watched my video the other day where I talk about the Worx Hydroshot, can you even see it in the camera? I'm pointing at it like you can. Well, I've got it sitting here, the Worx Hydroshot. How this thing can siphon from a bucket. You can fill your bucket up with distilled water to spray distilled water on a car and let it dry in the sun. If you watched that video and you thought it was cool, thank you so much. Well, I want to talk about so many different ways I use this little machine in my business, and I'm going to do an engine bay detail. I'm not going to kill you with the long process. You guys have seen enough engine bay details, I think. Let me move this camera, so sorry guys. But what I'll do is I want to talk about the fact that I'm a mobile detailer. As a mobile detailer at this point in my career, I do not bring water with me. I do not bring power with me. 99.9% of the time, I'm working at my customers' private homes or their private businesses. Most of my customers are very successful. They own their own businesses, and I can work in their private parking lot to detail their vehicles. I see them weekly, monthly, some a little bit longer than that. There are times, even to this day, because I do not bring water and I do not bring electricity, I'll have a customer from time to time that says, Scott, can you do an engine bay detail for me? Well, I'll ask them some questions. How did you find me? I'm so grateful for the call. Where do you live? Do you happen to live in an apartment? Do you happen to live in a home? What's the water availability to me? What is the power availability to me? Sometimes I've had customers actually say, Scott, I'm sorry, I live in an apartment. I have no water outside. I have no power for you to be able to access. Well, in the past, yes, I've been able to do some engine bay details with that scenario. I would take a pump sprayer and try to rinse off the car. It was not that it can't be done. It can be done, but it just slows the process down. It's not as effective. It's not as efficient. And usually, sometimes even, I've kind of turned those jobs down because I was too busy. I couldn't do it. But now what I'm doing, and I'll even do this for my customers who may have water available to me. Maybe their engines, you know, to me, sometimes it's just easier to grab this little Hydroshot, have a bucket of water. I may use distilled water. I'll tell you why, because as we know, when we clean an engine bay, we're going to get a lot of overspray. I may have to shoot the fender wells, right, or the fenders, because I've got some overspray from my cleaner. If I'm using distilled water, I'm working in sunlight, all I got to do is worry about drying off the engine, and I can let the water on the side of the car dry in the sun. I don't have to worry about water spots getting on the windshield from overspraying with water. This is why I like the Worx Hydroshot. It makes me more effective, more efficient when I show up at a client's home, especially when I'm just doing an engine bay detail. And now it gives me some power. Maybe I have a customer who doesn't have water or power available, but now I've got a gun that's got 170 PSI worth of pressure. I can break down some grease and grime inside an engine bay in those scenarios. So I just wanted to share that with you. Sometimes I won't use distilled water with my Worx Hydroshot, and I want to save myself some money, but I'll take advantage of the sun. I'll actually park the car. If I'm at a facility where there's no water, no power, I'll park the car so sunlight is shooting inside the engine. I'll clean the engine, use my Worx Hydroshot, and I'll let the sun dry the engine. I'll take a microfiber and just lightly, pick up most of the water that I can. I'll put my stuff back into the truck, write an invoice for the customer, and I'll let the sun dry the car, and then I'll go to dressing it after that, and I'm ready to fly. I can go. So basically what this will look like, you guys have seen me do an engine bay detail. This car just has light dust and dirt because I did it a couple of months ago, but I got some super clean in a bottle and a little brush. I'm just going to go around this car lightly. I don't have a lot of grease and grime. I'm just going to kind of do a maintenance engine bay detail, I guess. In fact, I don't even need to do this. I probably could have just blown it off, but I wanted to show you how this Worx Hydroshot works in an engine bay and how I feel it kind of changes the game for me. You guys have to decide if that's the case for your world, but I just love the way this thing works. The efficiency it gives me, the more availability I have to customers that may want this service, but they may not have power or water available to me. It's great. In some ways, it's allowed me to be more profitable and more effective in those scenarios because I do not need power in the moment. So what I'm going to do, I've lightly agitated my super clean on there. I'll show you how this works in the engine bay. Now in the moment I am using distilled water because I've got some, no big deal, so I don't have to worry about any overspray. In fact, I'll spray down the fenders. I'll spray down the windshield. Now one thing you have to realize about this machine, because I'm siphoning, and I'll show you the bucket in a minute. I got a 5-gallon bucket with distilled water in it. Because I'm siphoning with the siphoning tube to the bucket, I'm only getting about 150, 170 psi. It's not going to break, it's not going to rock your world like, holy crap, this thing can blow stuff off. You're still going to have to agitate it with a cleaner. But what's really great about this wand, and because it's, man, I have a hard time getting the camera, because it's a really compact gun and it's got a long wand, I can get back there on that firewall and shoot off grease and grime. And this nozzle on the end here, I happen to be using the 40-degree position for the nozzle. If I want to go to 25 degrees, give myself a more stream shot and more pressure to get in that firewall, I can. And what's great about this is I've used very little water. I probably have used maybe half a gallon, if that, in my bucket. I can literally be done with this detail right now. If I don't have power to me, you guys know I like a blower. I could blow dry it. But now what I would do is just mop up as much water as I can with a microfiber towel, try to position the car if I can in direct sunlight, go write my bill out for my customer, I'll go write an invoice, I'll go put my stuff away, and then I can come back and use Stoner Trim Shine or McGuire's Hyper Dressing and simply dress this engine bay pretty quickly. I just absolutely love using this tool, this Worx Hydroshot, and using it in the right ways, in right scenarios. It makes me more available to customers because I don't bring power and water. Here's a little tip. In my maintenance program, I may decide to use this even when there's power and water available to me on a car that I'm seeing every week. It just makes it a little bit quicker. Instead of breaking out my 50-foot hose and having to reel that thing back up and chuck it in my truck. If you've ever tried to reel up a hose, it's a pain in the butt sometimes. I know I'm acting like a baby. But I can take this thing and simply wash the car with the car that's in my maintenance program. I also don't need power when I'm dealing with the car that I'm maintaining. I'll actually have a cordless vacuum, and I'll vacuum the people's car quickly. I have customers that may be it's a single owner of the vehicle. They use their car all week long, and then I see them a week later. I can just use a handheld vacuum, lightly vacuum up any dust and dirt that's in the car, wash their car with this, with distilled water. Do that first, obviously. Let the car dry in the sun, vacuum quickly, lay some protection down, monitor the protection on the paint. In my maintenance program, it is a winner for me. I don't have to break out extension cords. I don't have to break out the hose. Just kind of think about that process. It makes me so quick. I just get out of the truck. And sometimes I'll use power, I'll use water. It's a case-by-case scenario. But this little machine here, used right, used effectively, I absolutely love it. Now again, you're not going to get 300, 400 psi with this thing. Be appropriate when you buy it if you choose to buy it. You'll get, with the nozzle at the 25-degree position and using it, because it's got a high-low position. I'll run it and you can kind of hear it go down in pressure and go back up. That's the low position. That's the high position. That's got a lot of nice power right there. A heck of a lot more power than a pump sprayer. And I don't have to pump, right? That kind of saves me a little bit. And at the moment, I don't care about any overspray on the windshield. I don't care about any overspray on the fenders. They'll dry in the sun. I got distilled water. I don't have to worry about it. I just love this thing. I wanted to share it with you in many of the scenarios I use it in. This happens to be an engine bay. Just wanted to show you how I use it. I'm going to show you some other ways that I use it that might be, maybe it kind of surprised you a little bit, but I love this thing. Just wanted to share it with you. $119 on Amazon. I think I looked this morning. It's $105 now. They've dropped the price. Battery lasts for about 30-35 minutes. If you're holding the trigger continuously, if you use it in the right scenario, you'll be able to go all day with it. but just wanted to share that with you. The Worx Hydroshot, used inside an engine bay when you don't have water available or power. You can do engine bay details if you happen to be a detailer that doesn't bring water and power. I also like it in my maintenance program. I don't need a hose, break out a hose. It just makes it easier for me. I love you all. Wanted to share that with you. Thank you so much. I think we're hitting 500,000 views. That will probably happen tonight or tomorrow. Folks, I am so grateful. Some of you actually like listening to me ramble. I am giving knowledge and wisdom away for free because I love all of you. I'm very grateful for my success in my career, and I want to help some of you guys out. And that's really why I do it. Some of the relationships I've built over the last, I've only been doing this almost 5 months, and I got 500,000 views, and I have somewhere around 4,000 subscribers. So I'm just kind of blown away by it. That wasn't my intention. My intention was just to kind of help those that would want to actually receive some type of help, and I wanted to give it freely. So I thank you. I love all of you. Happens to be Sunday. I hope you're enjoying your families or whatever you may be doing. Until next time, love one another, be kind to one another. It all comes back to you, so might as well love everyone. And just so you know, I love all of you. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.